Time, as you know, or maybe you don't know, but if you've been following me, maybe you do know. Usually on Tuesdays on the afternoon, because Tuesdays is half price day, and I'm frugal with my money because the Bible says, God says that you should be good stewards of your money. So, yeah, be frugal, be good stewards of your money. So on half price days at Malco Movies, I go to the Malco Movies on Tuesdays. And then maybe on Wednesday or something later I'll do a movie review. So I'm going to do a movie review for you. The movie I went to on Tuesday was titled Elevation. Elevation. Okay, it was supposed to be a sci-fi horror movie of sorts. But it kind of sucked. I mean, it had the drama, it had a bunch of exposition and supposition and talking between various different characters within the movie. And there really, honestly, was only about 4... Way to keep the... There was only maybe 4 characters in the movie total that really did anything. There was a few background characters, but they didn't really do anything. So the main character was, Captain America, Falcon, the black guy from Captain America, the upcoming Captain America movie, who took on the mantle of Captain America and was Falcon. You know, that guy. Then the secondary character was this woman who I don't know the actress's name. And a third secondary character was another woman who, again, I don't know the actress's name. But one of them, spoiler alert, gets killed and dies in the movie. Okay, so, and the other one, spoiler alert, figures out a way to kill the bad thing. You only saw maybe at most 4, possibly 5 of the bad things. Okay, so the premise of the movie is that these bad alien, demon things that came out of the ground, which they turn out to be neither one of those, but also still kind of one of those. So, spoiler alert, I'm just, screw this, I'm just going to give spoiler alerts because the movie was that sucky that I don't even recommend you go watch it. So I'm just going to do spoiler alerts. Spoiler alerts, turns out they were machines. Some kind of robot creature thing. They look great. I like their design. I would love to have an action figure of one of these things because they look great. And awesome, cool design. But the movie in itself kind of sucks. The only good thing the movie has is these awesome looking robot bug creature things that somehow it kind of lets us think that they came from outer space, but then how did they come out the ground? Anyway, I was doing, you've heard of Cinema Sins, right? I was literally doing Cinema Sins next to my mom while we were watching the movie, while the movie was playing, because there was literally nobody but a couple other people in the movie theater. Yeah. And I don't remember how many Cinema Sins they did, but they racked up a pretty good amount of Cinema Sins, just from my own perspective of Cinema Sins. Like, I'll give you one. The first major Cinema Sin they did is, okay, the line, the 8,000 foot elevation line, is 8,000 feet above sea level. So theoretically, it'd be, if they were programmed, they'd also be not going 8,000 feet below sea level. But also, water should be safe because you don't see them swimming or anything in the movie at all. And for some reason, you don't see the creatures. You would think creatures would eat, right? And they wouldn't just go after humans. But you don't see nothing but... You don't even see all the other animals. I mean, you see a bunch of horses, wild horses, but you don't see any other animals. You would think you would see other animals, right? Anyway, some of the cinema sins was the idea that it takes place 3 years later, yet somehow certain things are still working. Like, I don't know, being able to start a car without it needing a system of jumper cables, and miners' helmets with the lamps on them still working after 3 years of not being, the batteries would need recharging for the cars and, jump start. But that's not the biggest cinema sin in this whole entire movie is the fact that a freaking bazooka, rocket launcher, grenade straight up on this robot thing didn't freaking kill the damn thing. Okay, come on. If it was straight up to the face or underneath its body or something, close range should have blew the thing straight up. Come on. No, but that's not the biggest cinema sin. The biggest, hugest cinema sin of all is the idea that oh my gosh. Oh, okay. At the 8,000 feet, range, somebody, even though we don't see very much towns, and the town we do see is like supposedly 200 of population. There's a couple other towns we see, but somehow somebody managed to put post holes, a lot of post holes, and paint where the elevation marker is. Now, don't get me wrong, but you would have to post it outside. You'd have to post the elevation marker a little bit before the actual elevation marker, because, a little bit after because if they can't go past 8,000 feet, you need to make the elevation markers at least 5 feet past the 8,000 feet. Or else you would have to be to be able to make the marks of the fence type deal that they did. You'd have to be, to build the post holes. As a person who's built fences, I know that you have to be on both sides of the eventual fence that you're going to build the post hole. So if you're digging a post hole and putting a post hole in to create a boundary, and you're trying to put that boundary directly on the 8,000 feet mark, you would have been risking your life to these creatures that kill indiscriminately human beings by being on the wrong side. So if you're going to make a mark, you wouldn't make it perfect at 8,000 feet. You would have to make it a little past the 8,000 feet so you wouldn't get attacked by the monster creatures while you're building the arc thing, while you're building the fence thing. And second of reason, they managed to do this for like everywhere, like all throughout the movie. No matter where the people are, they somehow have built and show where the the boundary marker is, which is flipping ridiculous. Okay, that's the biggest, hugest sin. Man, it's like 10 sins. Actually, it's like 1 sin for every post hole. So, since you see hundreds of post holes throughout the movie, hundreds of cinema sins. I'm just going to give it like 1,000 cinema sins just for that. Bam. Anyway, you can see the trailer and you can tell what I'm talking about. Go watch the trailer, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, the movie itself, so much supposition, so much dialogue, unnecessary supposition, unnecessary dialogue. We got to give it cinema sins for all this unnecessary supposition and dialogue. We got to give it cinema sins for helmets working with the lamps after 3 years, cars being able to start even though the gasoline and battery, the gasoline after 3 years probably is gone, and it's probably siphoned out. If it hasn't been siphoned out by survivors, it's been siphoned out by nature. And of course, a battery for a vehicle doesn't start in 3 years, even if yeah. More cinema sins. The characters themselves take way too many breaks. I mean, you're like got these giant bug monster creatures that actually I will have to give them knock off about 10 cinema sins for the fact that their design is great and they do look like the potential creatures from Revelation that are the creatures that come out of the ground, which is how these creatures work. They come out of the ground and they start attacking humans. Problem with it is if they were trying to go with a biblical reference, those creatures are gone after 3.5 months, and none of them scorpions that are in the Bible, those called scorpions, scorpion-like creatures, which are what the creatures from elevation. Tongue tied because words, revelation, evolution, and elevation. Yeah, tongue tied. Anyway, from the book of Revelation, they come out, they're gone in 3.5 months. That's what the Bible says is one of the seals or something or whatever. Anyway, they're scorpion-like creatures. They probably look like the ones from this movie, or this movie probably got the idea from that Revelations book, because they do kind of mention the black guy that I talked about earlier. He does say something in the line that maybe the Jesus freaks were right, Anyway, so I knock off some sin of sins for that. But those creatures, I didn't have to add some for not doing the biblical account correctly. Those creatures never kill humans. They only sting them and make them hurt. Those creatures also are gone in 3.5 months, which means our governments of the world somehow figure out how to kill them. And if it's not our governments of the world, it's just the regular, average, everyday, normal people figure out how to kill them. Or they just naturally die out after 3.5 months. So they wouldn't be around after 3 years, and they wouldn't chase you. There's no elevation. There's no elevation rule in Revelation either, where they stop chasing you if you get up 8,000 feet. No, it's not how it works. So, cinema sins for taking part of the Bible and then getting the whole rest of it wrong. Cinema sins. Anyway, So it's, oh my gosh, like, she finally figures out a way to kill him, and then they like just blow up from like cobalt laced bullets. Like, basically, it's cobalt laced bullets. So the thing that kills them just happens to be what she was working for on at the United States Department. And this girl that just happens to be the scientist girl, she just happens to have been working on a way to make cobalt batteries last longer for, to stop global warming or whatever. It's got this little agenda where they try to push that global warming, green New Deal, blah. And she worked for like the Department of Energy or something. And Cinema Sins, I'm going to just throw this Cinema Sin out there. When you get to the hospital, you see that the hospital is rated and all that. But when you get to her lab, it's not been rated. When a government scientist lab would have just as much stuff worth rating by survivors who were trying to survive as a hospital. It's a freaking science facility. And they just walk into it like it's nothing. So, yeah. Oh, and another Cinema Sin. Okay, the black dude, he leaves. This is at the end of the movie. He leaves. She discovers how to kill these things at the very moment one of these things comes and tries to kill her. Yeah. But the black dude, he leaves in the truck because he had the whole reason why he was going down there to the hospital and stuff was to get these things for his son. It's his son. At first, during the trailer, I didn't know if it was his son or his brother, but we find out it's his son. His son has some kind of cancer or some kind of thing that he has to be on some kind of oxygen every night and stuff, and he ran out of filters, right? So he's going he's going down to get some filters to save his son's life. Somehow, he leaves her at the lab. She figures out the solution to killing these things at the right, perfect, opportune, right moment. Like, literally every time they get saved from these monster creatures, it's at the perfect, right, opportune moment. Cinema Sins for every single one of those times. And on top of all that, he's driving this pickup truck, and somehow, just because he gets a flat tire, he somehow manages to lose control of his pickup truck. Which, you don't lose control of your pickup truck just because you get a blown flat tire. No, that doesn't happen. And it manages to flip him over, and he goes unconscious for an undetermined period of time, but it doesn't appear that he went unconscious at all. And he gets out by the most ridiculous way that they show in movies, kicking the front window out. That doesn't work. Cinema Sins. Anyway, you would climb out of a vehicle via the door. The door. The door's window. There's no need to kick the front window out. You can climb out via the door. Cinema Sins. Anyway, he then runs, and he's running to try to get to the right elevation, and there's like 3 monster creatures chasing him, and stuff. And somehow through all this, she manages to kill a creature, get her car started, get a bunch of bullets, make a whole batch, of bullets, like a whole magazine worth of bullets, and then is above the elevation line and kills all three of the monster creature things, which are called Reapers, by the way, in the movie. Kills all three of the Reapers things and saves his life. And then they hoist the pirate flag for some reason. That's the resistance flag, I guess. And then they have radios. I guess it's ham radio. I don't know. Anyway, where they start contacting all the other places and telling people how they can kill the monster creatures with cobalt laced bullets, basically. And somehow people manage to have enough cobalt from batteries, because that's where a lot of batteries have cobalt in them. And they somehow have enough cobalt from batteries to then have just air where they're making like batches and batches of bullets of these things, right? And then they just leave. Then instead of showing the guy saving his son, which is the main reason we had the movie in the first place, is you then show us that all these resistance, all these different settlements that are 8,000 feet above, because it's set in Colorado where there's a whole bunch of mountains and stuff. Convenient. Anyway, what else was I getting at? Oh yeah, they somehow make a whole bunch of bullets, and then the monster creatures that they were scared of, and they were so fearful of, and they were so afraid of. Nobody's scared of these monster creatures anymore. Everybody trusts that one girl claims that cobalt bullets. Nobody is debating her. Nobody's going, this is huge cinema sins right here. Nobody is like, well, what if she's lying to us? Let's just take her word for it and make a whole bunch of cobalt bullets and then go shoot the creatures. And all of a sudden, the creatures y'all been scared of for 3 whole years. 3 whole years. Y'all just walk across the line, and when they show up, you just shoot them with these cobalt laced bullets, and they literally explode. Like, they just blow up. They like explode. So yeah, lots of cinema sins. So every one of these settlements that followed her lead immediately without like questioning her. Like you're gonna send out whole group scouting. First of all, you're gonna make like loads of bullets, cobalt laced bullets, which you just happen to have a lot of cobalt. Where did they get all the daggum cobalt? For real. And how they get so much cobalt? For real. And I mean, seriously. Were they mining cobalt? Is that a big... I don't know about Colorado and stuff. But is that like a big thing they mine in Colorado or something? Is it like a huge thing? Because if it is, that's so freaking convenient. And I hate conveniencies in these movies. That's what's wrong with horror movies, is the conveniencies. What's wrong with the sci-fi movies, the monster movies, is all the conveniences. It's like, you conveniently get saved because of this. Conveniently this. Conveniently that. Cinema freaking sins! Stop being so convenient. And what kind of crazy alien creature would make robots that look like giant freaking bugs? They would just have giant freaking bugs. It's like you try to add a It's made from the same people who did Silent Place, which also, literally, the Silent Place movies, none of them make sense at all. Nada, zilch. Our government, our military would have defeated those alien monster creatures as soon as they hit the damn ground. Swear. Jeez. Always making these freaking creatures immune to getting killed. And then you find out some stupid weakness that they have. Like in the case of the movie Elevation. It's freaking cobalt laced bullets. I guess theoretically you could have cobalt laced melee hand to hand combat weapons like a knife or something and stab them and kill them. And if they're robot creatures, wouldn't an electromagnetic pulse work against them? Oh my gosh. Oh, electromagnetic pulse weapons. So, oh, and another cinema sin. Somehow they still had electricity. 8,000 feet up in the mountains. And another convenient thing is there was like this mine that was up in the mountains, but it was 8,000 feet up in the mountains. Did they really have mines that high? I mean, are the mines really that, I'm just wondering. So if y'all from Colorado and y'all anybody from Colorado, can y'all elaborate how if any of this is even remotely possible? Because I don't know, I'm just saying. And the girl that uses the rocket launcher, she just happens to know how to use a grenade launcher because she's from Texas. What kind of stereotype are you sprouting out, Hollywood? Like, are you trying to tell me you Hollywood people from California think that Texas is rednecks, everybody knows how to use guns? And then you somehow intentionally you have her get killed and the scientists survive because what, y'all hate Texas or something? I don't know. First of all, you make her like, oh, everybody from Texas knows how to use guns and rocket launchers and grenade launchers and all this stuff because they're just a bunch of hillbilly rednecks. But then you make her go all emotional and whatnot and try to escape because they get trapped by one of those creatures under the mine because they have to go below the line under the mine, and she somehow gets killed, and then somehow the other girl and her who didn't like each other, they were telling each other to F off the whole freaking time. Matter of fact, that scientist girl, whoo, man, I understand why she had a pirate flag, because, man, she had the mouth of a sailor. She cussed like all throughout the whole entire movie. Cuss, 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 cuss. I should literally give a cinema sin for every time I heard the F word or any of that during the movie. Because, seriously, all that cussing was literally unnecessary. There was nothing in that movie to make it rated R except her cussing. I mean, if they would have literally had her not cuss throughout the movie, every time she cussed, it should be a cinema sin. Because none of them was necessary. Literally none of the cussing was necessary. I don't understand why they had to have so much cussing. Cinema sins. Oh, another cinema sin that I'm going to throw in on the movie is somehow they were able to make homemade and have found alcohol, and everybody's drinking this homemade found alcohol. Like, why would you, I don't know, if you're going to, like, go down below to get almost killed by these creature monsters, Reaper things, would you raid, pillage, whatever? Alcohol, of all things. I mean, there's so many other valuable supplies that you could freaking get that alcohol is like not on the top priority list. It's not. I mean, seriously, it's not even close to being on the priority list at all. It's just not. So anyway, the movie had a bunch of cinema sins. I could be good on the cinema sins. And so if you're watching this Cinema Sins, hit me up. I watch movies. I'll tell you what's wrong with them. Cinema Sins. Anyway, shoot. Yeah. So we kind of wasted like $20 on this movie because of us two people. So yeah. But I'm getting a 30-minute video of content. Yeah. So it's a spoiler video. I don't have the ability to edit all the movie things, but I can catch the cinema sins. I swear, if I had like a piece of paper to write down all the cinema sins, I would have really been able to write down the cinema sins. Cinema sins. So I was actually kind of enjoying the movie more for all the stuff that it was wrong about and was doing weird and wrongly and stupidly than actually watching the movie. I kind of enjoyed watching the movie to critique the movie, but I would not like watch this movie again. But if someone made an action figure of that Reaper creature from that movie, I would love to have one of those action figures in my collection for a reasonable price. So, Hasbro, get on that. Get right on that, Hasbro. I mean, you should have some kind of deal with other companies that put your actors in. Well, I mean, Disney. Seriously. Your actors are in other movies, and if they're in other movies, you should be able to make some kind of deal. Come on, Hasbro, make it happen. Make it happen. Besides, aren't y'all tired of just seeing Marvel Legends action figures? Wouldn't you like to see action figures from other movies and TV shows? Aren't y'all tired of seeing just DC Multiverse action figures? Wouldn't you like to see, like, movie maniacs come back, but in the style of DC Multiverse? Yeah. Anyway, so, I pretty much, elaborated about the movie for about half the no, not half, but third length of the movie. So yeah, there's that. So I pretty much told you a lot of spoilers. I kind of ended the ending spoilers. I spoiled pretty much the whole entire movie. So you don't really have to watch the movie now that you saw me spoil it. Yeah! Yeah, I usually don't spoil movies, but if they suck, I do spoil movies. And I usually try to only tell you stuff that, like, maybe you would know from the premise or from the trailers or whatever. But in this case, I'm like, the movie sucked. Let me just do Cinema Sins and spoil the whole damn thing. Anyway, remember, God is good all the time. All the time, God is good. Keep on gaming. Keep on watching movies because, you know, not many people are watching movies anymore. It's like, where are the people that are supposed to be watching these movies? How are they going to make any money? They're making movies and we're not watching them. The theaters are having to rely on putting arcade machines in the theaters to make additional money because not many people are going to the actual movies. I mean, we go on Tuesdays, which is half price day. The best day to go, everybody should be going on Tuesday because it's half price day. But we're watching the movie literally by ourselves. In this particular movie, only 3 other people showed up. That's 5 people were in the whole entire movie theater. Just even at $10 a ticket, you made $50 off of the 5 people for one movie. How can you even stay in business making that low of money? I swear. How can Hollywood continuously produce movies if they're not making any money? I can't get it. I just don't understand how they're making any money. How can you pay these actors who want millions of dollars to do a movie? Come on. How are you making any money? Are you making money off of the digital sales? Are you making money off of the buying the movie on DVD sales? Where are y'all making the money? Because I just don't understand how you are making money. Anyway, that is a side rant. Game on, collect on, movie on, and like, comment, subscribe, share, and Jesus loves you, Jesus God, Jesus Lord, Jesus King, Jesus ruler, everything. And just don't go see sucky movies, or do, I don't care. Maybe it's your type of thing. Maybe you like drama. Maybe you like talking and dialogue and supposition and all that stuff. Maybe you like a movie that has the F-bomb dropped every 5 minutes or less. Maybe you like stupid movies with no explanation of their monster creature protagonist thing. Maybe you like that kind of movie. I'm just waiting for Captain America Brave New World to come out. Also waiting for another movie we're waiting for to come out. Kraven the Hunter, yeah. And Thunderbolts, yeah. And Sinner looks like it ought to be pretty good. Sinners, yeah, that's it. And I think Mom is looking forward to Gladiator 2. Yeah, that one ought to be awesome. So, yeah, some movies I'm looking forward to see. And when I see them, I'll do reviews. And if the movie is good, I won't be doing spoiler reviews. Or I'll do light spoilers based off of the trailers. So it's not really spoiling anything. Yeah. So that's been almost 40 minutes now of me talking about how the movie was CinemaSin and spoiling it and stuff like that nature. And yeah. And the final, one more CinemaSin, I don't, is the idea that somehow aliens drop these monsters on the ground. Like they're maybe they were meteorites, and they just appeared to come out the ground, which also just doesn't make sense. It would make more sense for I don't know, an enemy government to have created them and hid them somehow underground. So even that doesn't make any much sense. So it would make more sense for it to be a failed actual government experiment, and it to be isolated event, not take over the whole world. I'm just saying, it's just too many questions, not enough answers. And even though they give you supposition about the characters and kind of reveal a little bit of what's going on, it's just not enough. It's like Why would you start a movie at 3 years? Start at the beginning of what happened. It's kind of like The Quiet Place, where they start after the stuff's already happened. Stop starting during the middle of something. Don't. In this particular movie, it's like you started at the end, but you may not have started at the end because maybe the aliens that created them are coming back, and then you have to deal with those. Or like start at the beginning, people. Start at the beginning, not like a world that's already everything somehow got affected by this one particular thing. Please, Hollywood, start at the beginning of stuff. Don't give us these weird, unknown, well, how did it get this way? Tell us how it got that way. Because when you tell us how it got that way, it usually just doesn't make any sense. Even supposedly the way that it happened doesn't make any sense. Like, how would nobody discover the cobalt thing before her? Yeah, like, seriously. Come on. I mean, that seems like something that was just been accidentally discovered. From, like, I don't know, someone throwing a battery at them or something. Seriously. Anyway, have a great day. Hope you enjoyed the Cinema Sins type review of Elevation. Yeah. Not to be confused with Evolution, which has monster creatures that look like the ones from Revelation. Yeah. Anyway.